At Collingwood College in Camberley, they're looking at bringing techniques into the classroom that will enable students to see the link between STEM subjects and the careers these can offer.
What students don't realise is that subjects such as science, technology, engineering and maths can map onto a number of career areas. Some of them think that actually science is only useful if you want to be a doctor. Well, actually it's used in a variety of other careers.
NQT science teacher Angalika Newton is eager to promote science careers to her class.
10 years ago when I was at school, very much into science, but the teachers only ever led me to believe that the kind of jobs that I could do with science as a background is doctor, veterinary, pharmacist. And 10 years on, I'm now a science teacher at this school, and the notion of the kind of careers you can go into with science as a background is still pretty much the same, which isn't true.
Lorette and Angalika are exploring techniques that can enable the students to make informed career choices. These include bringing outside visitors into the classroom.
And there are some very good examples in medicine.
Giving advice on a one-to-one basis.
Do you have any ideas what you want to do after GCSEs?
Peer-to-peer learning conversations.
It takes really long, it's a really long process.
Consolidating the information to create a career map, which the students will present to the class.
Well, a really good thing that I tend to do with the students, and that I'm not sure if you do anyway, is something like career mapping. So it might be that they pick a particular topic that they're interested in, and then they have one arm saying the different careers it can go into, one arm saying the different options that are open to them in that area.
OK, just following on from this morning.
Angalika and Lorette are joining forces in the classroom for a morning of activities to drive home their message.
One of my concerns, especially for Year 10s, is trying to get you thinking about your careers, especially careers related to science. Where do you get the information from, and how would you expand the knowledge you have already? So I've asked Miss Parker to come and join us to give us a bit of advice as to how we can try and pursue your careers after GCSEs. Miss Parker?
Thank you. Good morning, Year 10. I want us to think about how we can link science as a subject to the real world. So, you know, what's the point of you studying the subject at school anyway? So I want us now to pick some subject areas that we can do career maps on, so that you can see how what you're studying now, or how what you're thinking of going on to do, can relate to your future. Can anyone think of some, maybe perhaps their work experience placement, or anything that might relate to science?
I think my work experience in the mobile phone company will help me in physics.
Sports science.
Okay. Teaching. The diploma, like different industries and things.
Brilliant. The point of the career mapping is to help them to see that actually what they're studying in a science lesson, or a technology lesson, or engineering or maths, or their work experience, to see how that actually leads on to something they could do in the future.
Before getting started on the career map, students need to research their chosen topic. In order to help them, Lorette has brought outside visitors into the classroom.
Now we've got Claire here, who has an engineering background, so you could speak to her when you're constructing your career maps, OK?
My name is Claire Dimion. I'm a cost engineer for my sins. We're going to talk about some of the career choices that you're thinking about.
Bringing in outside visitors, such as Claire, a cost engineer, can be used to inform the students of careers that their teachers may not have direct experience of.
Are there any qualifications that you need to do a job in engineering?
Generally speaking, in engineering, you're looking at maths and physics, except when you're not. Because, of course, a chemical engineer is a different bag of beans again.
What sorts of jobs could engineering offer?
Engineering offers absolutely every sort of job and occupation you can imagine. You can do teaching within engineering. That might take me into the NHS. You might find yourself as somebody who's working as a project manager. It might be organising the IT system. You might be working as a specialist engineer among other disciplines.
Does engineering offer any opportunities for travel?
It certainly does. When I was working in the aerospace industry, I got sent off to Toulouse a couple of times to go and see where the A380 is going to be put together.
How much would you earn a year for if you're a good engineer?
Some engineers, if you get chartered status, you can be earning 40, 50, £100,000 a year.
Having the outside visitor come into the lesson today was really helpful, because students can really see how what they were doing related to their future and possible career.
As well as researching STEM-related careers, the students are looking at the best study options to take while still at school. To help, Lorette has brought in some students who are studying advanced level chemistry.
I've brought along 2 sixth form students today, and they're going to help you in terms of what the sixth form is like, what subjects you need to take and so on. They're there to help you through the activity.
With biochemistry, like, how much work is there?
You've got to be able to do your chemistry and your biology A level. It's really quite necessary for that.
Peer-to-peer learning conversations is a way to hear from someone who is currently going through the qualification.
Do you get a lot of coursework when you do your A-levels?
You do have sort of a small amount of coursework, but it depends between syllabuses. But generally, most coursework are sort of like assessed practicals, where you carry out a practical and it sort of contributes to your final mark.
Do a lot of people do chemistry because it's a core subject?
It's definitely worth having, I think. It definitely universities are quite impressed if you've got a good grade in chemistry. They're quite impressed by that, I think.
I don't actually want to get into chemistry at uni, but, you know, doing chemistry or biology at A-level actually wakens up your interest, and it does help you a lot. And I want to get into politics, and I think it'd be really useful for that.
I think there's a real benefit bringing sixth form students in to see the Year 10s, because actually the sixth form are students that they look up to, and the experiences the sixth form students are having and have had, they can really relate to, and they can give advice that perhaps we couldn't give because we're not in the situation that they're in.
The students are using the information they've got from speaking to visitors in the sixth form, along with searching on the internet, to create their own STEM-related career maps. On the maps, they're showing how science is related to the various careers they're interested in.
So looking at your map, which area do you think you can place physics into?
If you're in equipment.
Brilliant. And explain further, how could physics be used in terms of equipment for sports science?
Aerodynamics in sports.
What do you notice about athletes when they're running?
They're streamlined.
It's very streamlined. So we're going back to aerodynamics, which is physics, which you've linked to equipment. So you can see how it's all beginning to link in. When they were doing their career maps, the kind of things that were coming up, a couple of groups were actually realising where they can go and do their research, who they can go and talk to, and how they're all beginning to link up. And I think that was quite nice to actually see. I didn't really expect them to think that they could link a beautician's role back to the MOD role, but it's all due to teamwork and punctuality and commitment. So they brought the skills into it, and that was nice to see how they were able to literally jump outside their box, outside their comfort zone, and link it all together.
At the end of the lesson, they're presenting their findings to their fellow students.
So we made a mind map on work experience and how science is actually related to a lot of the careers that we chose. Lucy did her branch on beautification, which is mostly cosmetics, which is all related to chemistry.
Lots of jobs and stuff in the future is related to science, and we get lots of skills from school. For example, confidence and working in teams and stuff can help us in later life when we do jobs.
I think it's really good that the students presented to the class. It helps them to consolidate what they actually did throughout the activity. And I also think that the students that did a careers map in a completely different area can see that actually it could be that science and technology, etc., relates to work experience, it can relate to what they're studying in lesson, it can relate to a career area. So they all kind of gained knowledge from each other's career maps.
So I always thought that science was just, you only really needed it to be things like doctors and things like that, but I've learnt that quite a few of the careers need the science for it.
Engineering and science and stuff are like connected to get you the jobs that everyone really wants.
The career mapping exercise can introduce students to areas they previously knew little about. This in turn may throw up more questions. Subject teachers can use their specialist knowledge to help the students answer these questions on a one-to-one basis.
It's really important that when a teacher has a learning conversation with a student, that they look towards empowering that student to see what options are open to them rather than telling them what they could and couldn't do. I think it's great to tell them where they could go to find that information, so to guide rather than teach, if you like.
So Karim, GCSEs are coming up, about a year and a half. Do you have any ideas what you want to do after GCSEs?
Yeah, I'm still trying to decide between electronical sciences and natural sciences, which would include science to do with geography or biology as a doctor, and it's a hard decision to make still.
Do you know where to go in terms of getting information in regards to this?
I think I can come to the careers office and ask, but usually I need to ask someone specifically who knows about science.
We're usually the first point of call when our students have questions in terms of their future, be it just after GCSEs or going on to university or their careers. And I want to be able to have that kind of information in front of me that I can turn around and sit to, for example, Karim, which ways he could go and which areas he could try and pick up to either go down the natural science route or the electronic route.
The STEM Subject Choice and Careers project is equipping teachers and career professionals to handle a broader range of inquiries about careers in STEM. Activities like these don't have to be time-consuming. Today's session only took half a day to complete, but Lorette and Angalika think it's time well spent.
How do you think the career mapping went today?
I think it went really well. What I liked was that we took an idea, as you mentioned before, about the idea mapping, which I tend to use in classrooms anyway to consolidate their information they've gained from a particular topic.
Because when I spoke to them, I know a few of them said, you know, they didn't think science was important or they thought it was really geeky.
I've had the same even within my class. They'll get on with the work, but it's either geeky or boring or hard, especially the girls.
And even the beauty therapy one, actually, they were really shocked to think that science was an important part, and actually it's one of the most important subjects.
Exactly.
So that was quite useful, I think, for that girl today.
No, definitely. It's, I think, just bringing biology, physics and chemistry into their little world of what they think is the career they'd like to go towards and the pathway that has to help them get there. It's just really has opened up to them in terms of where they can get their information from and what route they need to go down.
My chemistry teacher, Miss Newton, has been a great inspiration for me for that particular subject.
I've learned how many jobs you can get. You can get like forensics, you can be a chemist, you can go into pharmaceuticals, which gets quite a lot of money. So
I was able to take a lot of information on board, and next time what I'll be doing at the end of a topic is getting them to do these kind of idea maps, but then linking it onto particular types of careers and what they could possibly do with that kind of topic behind them.
I'd like every subject in the college to have a link teacher that links with careers and takes on that responsibility, so that in every subject a student can see the reason why they're studying that subject and that they can see what options the subject opens for them and what careers they could follow as a result of studying that subject, because I think that the students really do engage in the subject more if they can see a point to studying it.